श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रवतु। गणेशाय नमः। सरस्वत्यै नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। ॐ जातवेदसे सुनवामसो ममराति यतो निदहाति वेदः स नः पर्षदति दुर्गाणि विश्वा नावेव सिन्धुन् दुरितात्यग्निः तामग्निवर्णां तपसा ज्वलन्तीं वैरोचनीं कर्मफलेषु जुष्टाम् दुर्गां देवीगुं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये सुतरसि तरसे नमः। अग्ने त्वं पारयानव्यो अस्मान्।
Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering myself at Bhagwan's lotus feet, respected elders and dear brothers and sisters. Loving Sai Ram to all of you. As I sit here today, my mind rushes back to memories dating to close to 14 to 15 years back when I was doing my post-graduation at Bhagwan's college in Puttaparthi. And it was the eve of Ganesh Chaturthi. And we are also having the Ganesh Chaturthi festival coming up this weekend. And I was given the opportunity to express and share my experiences in the Sai Kulwant Hall. But as wished by Swami, that day, due to certain change of events, I couldn't get that opportunity to speak, and I was feeling a little let down or disappointed. Now looking back 14 years hence that incident, never would I have imagined that I'll be sitting here in this hallowed portals of the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Medical Sciences as an employee, as a student, as a child of Bhagwan, and sharing my experiences of my life, the journey that has been so beautifully scripted and is being scripted by him and him alone. With this, I would like to start to share how it all began. It was in the year 1991 when my mother got to hear about Bhagwan for the first time. We were in Bangalore and she was conceived with my younger brother, and during her pregnancy somebody had given her a book on Swami, and she was totally attached. She got hooked onto that book, and that's how Swami chose to enter into our lives. And subsequent to that, we got shifted to Mumbai because of the transfer of my father. He was working in Canara Bank and later on in Can Bank Mutual Fund. So due to the transfer, we all got shifted to Mumbai in the year 1992. And as it would be that our neighbor who was there in the same building was a very ardent and a long-standing devotee of Bhagwan. The moment they came to know that we are also from Bangalore, the instant connection picked up, and our understanding or our getting to know about Bhagwan increased gradually. And I was a child, I was a small boy of about 8 to 9 years at that time. and that's when they started to, share more feelings, more experiences about Bhagwan. And for me, it was all something very new. As in, who is this Bhagwan? What is so special about him that there are so many people who get attracted and who pray to him sincerely and follow his teachings. So I was a bit curious, and then that's when I started to attend the Bal Vikas classes as well. Again, being a small boy, the Bal Vikas classes were held on Sundays, Sunday mornings, and that was the time when the Disney channel used to come on TV. And I used to be, kind of a bit upset to say, why should I miss a cartoon show and go and attend Bal Vikas classes? But better sense prevailed in me, and I started attending those classes. And thanks to my Bal Vikas Guru, those classes were so interesting, and it taught me so many valuable lessons. As they say, the foundation was laid back then. But still, it was the connect which I was to develop with Bhagwan was something, I cannot put it as to say a devotee and God. For me, it was more like a friend, a close confidant with whom I can share my deepest, thoughts. I can share my secrets. I can express what I'm feeling, what I'm going through to him. So the way it happened, the way Swami chose that it should happen was, I used to pray to Swami for every small thing. For example, if I'm going to school that day and I have not done my homework for some genuine reason, and I would have remembered that I have not done my homework and the teacher would be scolding me for that, a quick prayer would go out to Swami and say, Swami, do something and just ensure that I don't get caught this time. And believe me, if the reason was genuine, for some or the other reason, my punishment would be saved that day. Either the teacher would not come, or she would not have asked for the homework, or even if she has asked, she would just let me go with a mild warning. I mean, this might sound very trivial or selfish to people and say, you are using Swami for such small benefits of yours. But just imagine for a boy of 8, 9, 10 years old, what is that can connect you to somebody whom you really have faith and trust on? And that's how Swami chose to enter into my life. And even to this day, I look upon him as somebody who is very close to my heart, somebody who is probably the closest, and he is the only true friend that I could ever ask for. So as the phase progressed, as the time progressed, Bal Vikas classes became more interesting, and my guru used to have these classes. It was filled with experiences, stories of Bhagwan, devotees sharing their experiences, few bhajans and shlokas, of course. But what really caught my attention was the association which Bhagwan had with his students. My Bal Vikas Guru used to narrate experiences of Bhagwan going to Kodaikanal or even spending time in Trai Vrindavan with the students. And such close proximity, so much of time being spent with the students, and they were all the envy of the entire world. So these kind of stories and experiences really caught my attention, and I was like, I also want to become a student. I also want to be in that close proximity of Swami, to experience him like a real loving mother, like a friend. It was not for the free education, or it was not for, yes, there's a very hallowed institute and I want to pass out of that college. It was all there, but what took priority was, I wish Swami takes me to Kodaikanal one day as a student. So, I mean, that was the driving force. And it continued. I started actively participating in Bal Vikas, in the Seva activities that was being conducted. So gradually the entire family got into Swami's fold. My father also started attending bhajans. He was the spiritual coordinator of the Samiti. Everything was going well, and the association grew. Come my SLC boards, I cleared that, and then I was applying for Puttaparthi for my 11th, and for some reason my percentages were not up to the cut-off levels, so I couldn't get admission in Puttaparthi. I was distraught, and I was in Bangalore for my vacations, and I cried the entire time and said, why is this happening? Why is Swami not allowing me to be his student? Maybe that was the first time I really expressed my pain or my anguish to Swami. And as things would be, we went on, continued our vacations, and everything was set for us to go back to Mumbai and for me to start applying to colleges back in Mumbai. It was around end of May when a brother of mine who also happens to be a Swami's student, he calls up my father and he says, Uncle, there is a college near Bangalore which is also run by Swami. Why don't you try applying in that college for Karthik? So we started inquiring, and it is a place called Mudenahalli, and that's where the Swami's college was. And I started, me and my father immediately went there the next day. And the place is in such serene setting that I fell in love with that place. And in that instant, I decided that I want to join the college here only. Maybe that is what Swami had plans for. I had applied for science stream in Puttaparthi, but here it was only commerce at that time. So I said, my father asked me, do you mind? Do you really want to change your stream and then get on to commerce? Because science was my love. I said, no, father, my decision is to study in Swami's college. Maybe this is what is Swami's plans for me. And if that is there, that is the best plan. So in an instant I changed. I said, let me take commerce, and continued my 11th and 12th in that college. Post that, the next step was to apply for BCom Honours in Vrindavan in the Swami's Institute. And as it would be, I got through after the interview and the the written exams. It is so mesmerizing to think back and see how Swami plans each and every step of your life, even before you ask for. He knows best, and he decides and gives you only what is best for you at a time when he knows that it is the right time. No matter how much you pray for, whether you pray for or not, but if it has to come to you, it will come to you. College in Vrindavan was again filled with a lot of experiences, a lot of memories, a lot of happy moments spent in Bhagwan's presence. Maybe my first actual interaction with Swami happened around November of 2002 when I was in my first UG. One morning darshan, Swami had come and few of us classmates were all sitting there for darshan in the Kulwant hall, and Swami started asking each and everyone, where have you come from? So my classmates started telling that, Swami, I come from you, I come from here. Swami was just inquiring, and then he came to me and he asked me, what about you? Where have you come from? I said, Swami, I have come from Mumbai. Swami instantly looked at me and he said in Tamil, which happens to be my mother tongue, face Bombay face mari illiye, Bombay ke eppadi pochu. Meaning, your face doesn't look like a Bombay face. How did it go to Bombay? Then I said, Illa Swami, father works in Bombay. I am a Tamilian. Ha, Tamil. He said like that, and then he patted my shoulder and walked past. I mean, such a small incident again, but it reminds again to say how Swami knows you inside out, and he just wants to give you that opportunity to interact with him. Days continued, and it was around the summer of 2004. I had finished my second year of undergraduation, and we were all planning to head out to our homes for the summer vacation. During Shivratri of that year, when we were in Parthi, we prayed to Swami and we all wanted him to come to Vrindavan. And Swami said, yes, I will come in March. And he did come to Vrindavan in March, but it happened to be the 31st of March. And it was the last day of our exams, and we were writing our exams in the college, and we could hear Swami's siren, wherein his convoy came and reached Vrindavan. So all of us were happy that Swami is here, but also a bit sad that he has come on the last day, and the next day many of us would be leaving to our homes. So some of us had planned that we will stay back for some days and offer a small program of poems to Swami whenever he blesses us in Trai Vrindavan. So few of us stayed back, but as the days passed on, the numbers started dwindling. So I remember it was around the first week of April. I was in the hostel, and one evening I just let out a small prayer again to Swami and said, Swami, I have decided that I'll be here till the time you call us for the program. So I have decided that I'll be here in the hostel. I'll not go home. And it continued, and it was the 8th of April, if I'm not wrong, where evening Swami called for Trai sessions. He called all the boys, and there was a senior brother who shared his experiences, and in that he was narrating as to how Swami had given his robes, these personal robes that he wears, to all the students at the Puttaparthi campus in the last month. So as he was sharing that, a few of us who were there, the Vrindavan boys, we were hoping that, wish Swami blesses us also in a similar fashion. And the moment the brother finished his talk, Swami started inquiring with the warden and said, how many boys are here? And I would like to give them all the robes. So we were about 50 of us, actually 1/6 of the total strength of the Vrindavan hostel at that time. So we thought, okay, we are the lucky ones. So we all got the robes, and then Swami had his discourse wherein he was asking us actually to say, if any of you would have got the buttons of the robe, you come and show it to me tomorrow. I will give you all the robe buttons. This is what Swami had told. So again the excitement grew, and all of us are wondering who that lucky person might be. So we were just holding, we said, and in the meanwhile me and my friend had decided this Kavi Sammelan or the poem offering doesn't look to be happening because all the poets had actually gone away. Only 3 or 4 were remaining, and there's no point in putting up such a small program. So we said, then fine, let us plan to head out. This was the discussion which we had prior to the Trai session that day. So because the Trai session happened and we are all eagerly waiting for the next day's disclosure, me and my friend decided, let us wait on for a couple of days and then see what happens, what is in store. Come 9th April 2004, morning darshan was over and we all had gone back to our rooms. Suddenly there was a call from Trai and said, Swami is calling out for these boys. So initially the names were announced, and there were a few boys who had accompanied Swami from Puttaparthi. Their names were called out, and then there were a few of my seniors. So we all were just waiting and we didn't understand why those names were being called. All of a sudden I heard my name being called out. And out of surprise I jumped, I went out and they said, Karthik, Swami is calling you all to Trai Vrindavan. Rush immediately. So I immediately put on my whites and we ran to Trai. And we're all sitting there in the interview room. And Swami was upstairs in his lounge area. And we are all just discussing amongst ourselves as to what could it be. Why has Swami called us? Some of us thought maybe for a drama to be put up. Some of us thought maybe a Kodaikanal trip. Some of us thought even Kavi Sammilan, if at all it is a possibility. We were all just wondering and guessing amongst each other. And then Warden sir comes down and says that, boys, there is a small work which has to be done of cleaning up of certain items which are kept upstairs. And Swami wants you boys. Swami has selected you boys. So you all finish your lunch and come back here by 12 o'clock sharp. I don't know about the others, but I was super excited to be back in Trai Vrindavan and in such close proximity. So I skipped lunch. I was not at all feeling hungry that day. 12 o'clock sharp, all of us reach there. Then one more senior devotee calls us upstairs. We go and they explain to us saying there was some renovation which had happened that year. So there are a lot of items which are kept, which are gifted by Swami, like say saris or your pens which Swami gives to students, white clothes or small travel pouches. Many things were stuffed in one room. So they wanted us to kind of do a mini audit of those things, take number and then keep it back, arrange it in a nice fashion. So this was the work which was allotted to us. So we said, yes sir, we'll do it. And that's when Swami also came along and he started inquiring each of us as to what we do in the college and what class are we studying in. This is how it started, and this portion of this so-called auditing or cleaning up of the Trai Vrindavan, that storeroom, it lasted for about 3 days max. Several instances come to my mind even during that period to say, Swami used to suddenly surprise us from behind, come and joke with us, or we used to arrange things. There used to be some things like, the travel pouches like I mentioned. It used to be a small kit which had a small parachute oil bottle, Pond's cold cream, a small pair of scissors, etc. So once I remember I opened it and I showed it to Swami, and Swami so lovingly took out that parachute bottle, shook and see if the oil is actually inside or is it an empty one. And he also went on to ask about the cold cream, to say you should ensure that this is not expired, so that we should not be giving expired things to devotees. Such is the concern. He goes into the minutest details of everything that he does. These are lessons which all of us have to learn, and he teaches us in his own subtle way. Maybe we will not realize it at that time, but looking back, it all gives such significance. So like this, things continued, and post that our work was done as such, so we were outside. Suddenly one evening Swami called for us and said, where are these boys? We were all in our hostel rooms and then we were all ushered in. Swami said, I was waiting for you, why didn't you all come today? So we said, Swami, work was over, so there was nothing left for us to do. He said, no, you can come. So from that day on, what continued was probably 2 months of absolute bliss. And I mean, my tryst with divinity, as some may put it, it is something very, very unique, very personal. Nothing much significant happened as such, there was no big revelations or there was no big miracles which was done by Swami. But every session, every day, we used to go to Trai Brindavan, spend at least 2 to 3 hours in his presence, just the 9 of us. And right from sharing about what food was cooked in the hostel today to sharing his childhood memories of Swami, of his friends, or be it his linking to Shirdi Sai Avatar. I would like to share a couple of it. One evening, we were sitting with Swami in the interview room and we were just talking about some context. The context of Shirdi came up. And Swami said, long back, Ishwaramma Garu and few others wanted to visit Shirdi from Puttaparthi. So they all planned and they asked Swami also, saying, Swami, why don't you also come along? Swami, in his own style, he said, no, I'll not come, you all carry on. Later on, Swami was like, he mentioned this in Telugu, pardon my Telugu if it is not right, but na puttaparthini nene chudalani emaina unda. So it's like, what is there in my own Puttaparthi that I have not seen or I have to see? So this is what he refers to, as Shirdi is his, Puttaparthi is his, he is one and the same. So what is so special that I have not seen that I have to go and see now? Such subtlety but such strong message is given. Similarly, another instance where Swami was recounting his childhood days and all his other friends used to play football and all, and they used to call Swami and say, Swami, why don't you also come and join? Each one wanted Swami to be in his team, but Swami never he used to play for some time and then go off. Then one of us asked Swami, what about marbles? Were you playing marbles during your childhood? And in an instance, casually, as though he's talking about this thing, he said, Adi Shirdi lo adanu. So for us, it is like Shirdi Sai is a different avatar and Satya Sai is a different avatar. But for the avatar, it's all one and the same. It's just a continuous saga of giving of love that is there. So like this, there are a lot of such instances which happened, which he used to share, even about his childhood where he was with his grandfather. And Swami had once mentioned that he used to make rasam so beautifully. And he went on to explain the process of making that rasam, what ingredients to be added. And the entire Puttaparthi village used to queue up to have a sip of that rasam. And Swami at that time was, maybe a small boy of 10, 12 years old. Such small instances were all, we were blessed, I would say, to be able to hear this from the avatar himself. And it continued, the whole journey of 2 months, from April 9th to June 6th. Almost on an everyday basis, Swami used to call us and he used to share his precious time, his love with us. And during this phase, obviously, there were occasions where he used to inquire about our personal lives, about our families. So he had asked me about my father, and I said, Swami, my father was working in Canara Bank in Mumbai earlier. Then that year, in the beginning of that year, he had taken a voluntary retirement, and we had all come down to Bangalore, and he was eager to join Swami's hospital to do service. And he had joined the hospital in the month of January of 2004. So I was mentioning to him, saying, Swami, my father is doing service in the hospital. And then he instantly asked, quarters ichara? Have they given him accommodation? I said, no, Swami, but we have our house in the city and my father is traveling from there. Okay, manchidi, istaru. That was mentioned. And he also went on to say, from bank he has taken voluntary retirement and come here. Bank he used to get a good salary, No, here nothing he'll get. How is it? Is it okay? So he used to get into, such intricate details of inquiring about the family. And I used to mention, no, Swami, we are more happy that we have come to you. We have come back to you. Because what used to happen, I'd like to just go back in time a bit. When my father was deciding whether he should take that VRS or not, there was a lot of doubts in his head because I was studying, my brother was still in school, and he was only close to 48 or 50 years of age when this retirement option came up. All his relatives and colleagues were all telling him this is a foolish move, that if you take a voluntary retirement service now, you will end up spending all the money and you will be left without work, etc., etc. So there was a lot of confusion going on in my father's head. And one evening when he sat for his prayers, he took out a book on Swami, and the first page that he opened, the first quote that was there was, the moment you realize, the moment you know that you feel that your future is secure with the amount of money you have, your faith in God is diminishing. The moment you feel that your future is secure with the amount of money you have, your faith in God is diminishing. This was the statement which came across in that book. And he saw that, he took it as a sign from Swami, and the next day he went and gave his voluntary retirement. Because for him it was very clear that he wanted to come back and serve in Swami's institute. And if you are doing that sincerely, wholeheartedly, Swami will take care of your family. And both of us, I was studying in Vrindavan and my brother was studying in school. So Swami had already put us under his care. So he knew, he had that confidence. All of us had that confidence, in fact, that Swami was there, Swami will take care of us no matter what. So coming back to these days in 2004, Swami asked and said, everything will be alright, I'll take care. It was a great assurance to all of us. And one more incident which I remember, Swami used to once ask, we were all sitting around Swami in the interview room, and he just looked at us and said, where are Navagrahas? So I was a chirpier one of the lot. I used to take every opportunity to interact with Swami. So I said, Swami, there is a statue in the center hall of Trai Vrindavan behind Ganesha, where you have the Navagrahas picture. So I mentioned that, and Swami was like nodding his head and said, no. And then it is understood that you have to keep quiet and wait for Swami to reply. And Swami looked at us and he pointed us to all of us and said, you're all the Navagrahas and I am the sun here. So it's like, he is the center force. He is the binding force that brings all of us together and holds us united to him. All this happened. Then on Ishwarama Day that year, Swami made us all stand up during his discourse, and he announced saying, all these boys stay with me, they are working for me, they will be with me. And I was only in my second year BCom, and there was no plans as such what I would be doing in the future. MBA or going to Parthi was the straightforward option, but beyond that what was not thought of. But since Swami had revealed these kind of saying that these boys work for me and will be here with me all the time, it had a significance much later, which I'll come to. So such beautiful memories passed by in those 2 months, and come June 6th, the next day Swami was leaving, and we were all distraught. We said, Swami, we have to return back to our lives now, our college lives and the boring hostel without you. Swami patiently listened to three of us were actually were to stay back in Vrindavan. Rest everybody were traveling to Parthi, for their classes with Swami. So when three of us were there with Swami, we were crying and we were like pleading to Swami that Swami, we also would like to come with you. We'll stay with you for a few days and then come back to Vrindavan again. And Swami said, no, you have your classes. All of you should be here. And then he went on to say one beautiful thing after we took Pad Namaskars. He said, see, these 2 months that you spent with me, how were they? We said, Swami, these were the most wonderful time of our lives. This was like heaven. He said, so many memories you have had, so much of joy you have had. Absolutely, Swami, nothing compared to that what we have got. He said, recount these memories. Keep remembering them, sharing them with everybody. That's what will keep you happy. And if you are happy, I am happy. So this was the message which Swami gave to us at that time. Saying each one of us as devotees would have had some association with Swami, some memory which you would link to, which you would associate, connect to that divine. Keep remembering that connect again and again. Share it with people. Inspire them and get them also connected. And that's what is going to keep you happy. And if you are happy, Swami is obviously happy with this. So that was the golden phase of my life till date, I would say. And so many small things come to my mind. I'm just running out, or I'm kind of shuffling between events here. Every day when Swami used to sit in his chair inside Trai Vrindavan, when the 9 of us were there, we used to kind of do Padaseva to Bhagwan. And whenever it was a time for Swami to get up or sit down on his chair, we had to hold his feet so that his feet doesn't slip from beneath the carpet. So for some, other than Swami's blessing, it could be nothing else. But I used to get that opportunity way too often to kind of hold on to his feet and aid him in him sitting or getting up from the chair. What previous births, punyas that we have done, nobody knows. But to be able to hold on to his feet almost every single day of those 2 months period, I would say that's the real icing on the cake. And that moment, it used to be only Swami and me. There's nothing else that mattered in this entire world. He used to look at me, I used to look at him. I used to bend down and hold his feet and help him get up. And in the human way, he also acknowledged, and one day he asked, why do you hold this? Why do you hold my feet? I said, Swami, so that you don't slip. Swami said, good boy. So it's like he acknowledges every small action of yours. You just have to dedicate it to him, leave it to him and say, Swami, this is yours. I am doing it only for you. So that 2 months, I think, laid the foundation. What was built during my Bal Vikas time or during my other college time to what was to come in future. Finish that episode of 2004, then we continued with college. We used to visit Parthi often for festivals. And whenever we used to interact with Swami, it was again back to the old times. So one thing which happened was one afternoon when we were sitting with Swami in Trai Vrindavan, the power went off suddenly. It was a cloudy afternoon and very pleasant, and just the 9 of us were sitting with Swami. And suddenly Swami asked, the weather feels like Kodaikanal, isn't it? So all of us nodded and said, yes, Swami. And so he said, Papam, you boys might be thinking that Swami will take you all to Kodaikanal, but this time it is not possible. He said, no problem at all, Swami. This is much better than Kodaikanal. Actually, if you see, because we are getting to spend time exclusively with Swami in Vrindavan. I mean, wherever you are with the divine, that becomes the best place, be it Kodaikanal, heaven, Parthi, Vrindavan, wherever it is. And if he is in your heart 24/7 and you keep remembering that, then that becomes your Vrindavan. You are there with Swami completely. But so he was like mentioning, no, you don't feel bad. Let us see what can be done. So anyway, that 2004 passed. 2005, I had finished my BCom. Swami was in Parthi only. He didn't come to Vrindavan during March, April that year. So we all went to Parthi, and post that I went home. And it was around the first week of April where I had a pining to go back to Parthi. I was just at home for maybe a week or so. Something was telling me go back to Parthi. So I went back, and within a couple of days it was decided that Swami would be leaving for Kodaikanal. And as his blessing would have it, I was one of the chosen few who was in that group. And immediately I called up my father and said, see, this is what it is, you please get me more pairs of whites, and we need to be traveling from Parthi only. And April 19th 2005, which happens to be today actually, no, 19th of August this is, 19th of April, and Swami accompanied us to Kodaikanal. And again, what followed there was close to 3 weeks of absolute bliss. And one of those sessions, I remember I was wearing a shirt which was presented by Swami during 2004. And I was wearing that for darshan one day, and he saw me and he asked, Nene ichinan kada ee shirt? So he remembered that, and I said, yes Swami, mere last year icharu. You only gave this to me last year. So like that, and instantly, what I was praying for during the early 90s, Swami made it happen in 2005. And these are memories which will never run out of my heart till I take my last breath, I would say. Because with Swami, the relationship which I share personally is something which never can be explained to anybody. It is, like I said in the beginning, it is either of a close friend, a confidant, a mother, a father. He has played different roles at different points in time. He has been strict where he has to be strict. I have received rebuttals or a strict no from him when things are not right, what I am doing is not right. At the same time, the love of the mother comes forth to protect me, guide me, and bring me onto the right path every single time. So these are some things which would never go out of my memory, whatever it is. So come finish Kodaikanal. After that, I had applied for MBA in Parthi Institute, and by Swami's blessings I got through. Post which the darshans during that time, 2005 to 2007, it was more of a restricted darshan, as Swami had not been walking for darshans at that time. So it was more of a car darshan that we used to have. So interactions had reduced with the boys. I was a part of the Vedam group. And every day when we used to go for darshans, Swami used to look at us, acknowledge, but that's it. There was no interactions as such. And slowly my mind, as they call it, the monkey mind, it started dwindling. And I said, okay, what next? I would be finishing my MBA soon. What should I do? So I remember I was having this talk with my father somewhere around February of 2007, to say, what are your plans? So I told my father I was in the peak of doing my MBA masters. So all these jargons, the business jargons, midlife crisis, all these things came to my mind, and I said, no, if I'm here for Swami's physical presence, Swami's interactions, physical proximity. Now with Swami being kind of restricted, or he's not really coming forth, I don't know how it will be. It will be difficult for me, and Swami is also not interacting. So I would like to take Swami's blessings and come out and work. This was my thought. My father supported me in whatever, and he also prayed to Swami. And I finished my MBA, and I submitted my letter to Swami saying that, Swami, I would like to go out and work. For Swami, everything is, blessings are there. He is there to protect you wherever you are, whatever you do. So he blessed me. So I came out, I got a job in one of the corporate banks here in Bangalore, and I was to join within a month's time. And believe me, within a week of me joining that corporate bank, my heart started pining, and I said, something in me said that, no, this is not the place for you. You're misplaced. You should be somewhere else. Every single morning, as I said, my father was working with the hospital, and as Swami had willed it, we had got the quarters also back in 2005. So we were staying on campus. So every morning I used to catch a bus from outside this hospital's gate to my workplace. And as the bus would pass through the hospital, I would look at the hospital, pray to Swami and say, Swami, bring me back. Something doesn't feel right. I want to be back. But yeah, what has to be endured has to be endured. So it went on. I changed my job. I joined one more investment consultancy firm. Things were going okay, but there was something missing in me, and I kept pining. I kept praying to Swami to see, change. I need a change. I want you back in my life. I'm not getting that. Kindly see what can, help me out here. And fast forward to 2010. It so happened that my parents met with an accident, and we lost our father due to that. We prayed to Swami, and Swami was there. Swami blessed him and said, he has come to me. You don't need to worry, and I'll take care of the family. This was the assurance which he again gave in 2010. And he was the pillar of our strength during those troubled times. So post my father's demise, I again prayed to Swami that I would like to come back and work in his institution. And with his blessings, I joined our hospital here in Bangalore in the month of November 2010. If he is there, decided that he will look after you, he will look after not only you, but your family, your children, everyone. As they say, he looks after 7 generations before and after you. You just have to pray to him, you just have to be sincere and surrender to him, and let him hold the reins of your life. Since then, my journey in our hospital here has been nothing but a dream. The responsibilities which he has given me, he also gives me the strength to fulfill that responsibilities. And I can see his invisible hand almost every day of my work life here. Presently I am working in the medical purchases, and every single day we get to experience Swami handling things in the way that, suddenly some item would be required and the best vendor would come forth, or there would be a donor who would come forth and donate the items what is required for the patients here. Everything just happens so smoothly that it is possible only when he is around, when he is in charge of the whole thing. And coming forward, the birth of my son was also something which I would like to share here. Soon after my marriage, my wife, she started developing some kind of abdominal pains, and we were all wondering as to what it could be. Several tests were done and we found out that she had some gallstones in the gallbladder, and then she was supposed to be operated in the month of August of 2018. And few days prior to the surgery that she was scheduled, she had a dream where Swami had come to our house, and all of us were there, and my wife and my mother were preparing some dishes to be offered as Naivedyam for Swami, and Swami kept calling them and said, "You don't be in the kitchen all the time, come here, I have come to you." So they were quickly making those things, and Swami was in a very childlike manner. As in, when Naivedyam was being offered, he was to refuse like a child. And even when he was talking, it was more of a childlike tone that he used to talk to. And my wife said she used to make small balls of the Naivedyam, mix it and offer it to him as though we are offering it to a child. So next morning she shared this dream of hers with me, and I said, "We don't know what Swami has plans for. Very happy that Swami could come in your dream, and this is what has happened." Anyway, our minds were focused on the gallbladder surgery, which was to be done here. And just less than 3 days prior to surgery, we had to go and meet the surgeon. And that morning she had symptoms which were like kind of quite severe in terms of vomiting and the nausea which was coming for her. So we went and met the surgeon, and they were mentioning like, these symptoms don't seem to be like what is happening to your gallbladder or gallstones. This seems more towards pregnancy that is related than the gallstones issue. And during this phase, from the time the gallstone was diagnosed to surgery, my wife had returned to Swami and prayed to him that, "Swami, do something, that I don't want surgery." She was scared to go under the knife, and so she had prayed to Swami, and Swami had blessed here in this very room by blessing her letter with Vibhuti Prasadam. So she was taking that, but somehow, 3 days to surgery and everything was fixed. So we went and met the surgeon, and surgeon said, no, the symptoms that you are saying right now, it seems it's linked more towards pregnancy than the gallstones. So we underwent the test, and yes, it was a confirmed pregnancy. And as we all know, during the initial stage of pregnancy, they don't advise of any other surgery unless it's a dire emergency. So we had to postpone the gall surgery, and believe me, it's been close to 2 years now since that surgery was due, and there has not been a single instance where she has complained of the gallstones pain ever again. And this is nothing but what Swami, once you pray to him, once you surrender to him completely, he knows best. He will make you run through the entire roller coaster ride of your life, but in the last moment, he is there to protect you and take care of you. Like I had mentioned, the blessing which I had in 2004 of holding on to his feet, and I had told him that time, saying, "Swami, it is to help you not to slip." But looking back, it reaffirms to me that we have to hold on to Him, to His feet, so that we don't slip. We don't slip in this world which is filled with so many, abyss holes, with so many treacherous pathways which are there, which will pull you in, which will suck you and make you lose path of your sight. The only learning which I would like to take back is God has a plan for your life, and that is all you need to know. Right from the time of my joining Balvikas or getting to know Swami till date, this statement, what I had seen in front of my college library, it comes to my mind every single day, and I have to keep reaffirming it to myself to say, God has a plan for your life, and that is all you need to know. You need to put in your efforts, you need to be sincere, and you need to have faith in the Almighty, in Bhagwan. Leave everything to Him. You will face troubles, you will face hardships in life, there will be challenges, but with Him by your side, none of this is impossible to conquer. He will guide you through. He will lift you when times are troublesome. He will carry you in His hands and make sure that you reach the shore safe and healthy. With this, I pray to Swami once again to bless us all, to keep us in His fold, to let us hold on to Him ever and forever. Thank you. Sairam.
Gariga sari nisa, nisari ma pani pa ma gariga sari nisa, ni dani nisa. Gariga sari nisa, nisari ma pani pa ma gariga sari nisa, nisari ma pa ma pa.
Therefore, in all works, including the small, insignificant work, there will be togetherness. There is that kind of unity in but even they, here and there in between, you develop some kind of in the old and ancient days, sports and games were undertaken for health and also physical well-being. In order to live a joyous life, in order to live a healthy and happy life. These games and sports have taken their origin from this part. But today, we are forgetting the purpose of sports and games being we are converting them into a type of business. We are introducing selfishness. It is on account of that we lose joy, happiness. If you are aspiring to have peace, how can you get peace? You know the way. We are not enjoying things, the purpose for which they are meant. We are abusing them, misusing them. When we are asked to give a song, whether it is for this music or particularly in the games and sports of the day, the moment sports and games are converted into such big business, the humanity is destroyed. In that where there is selfishness, there cannot be peace.
Kalmane, Desha,
భాష దేశ సాంప్రదాయాలు వేర్వేరైనప్పటికీ అందరూ ఒక్క ఆత్మస్వరూపమైనటువంటి భావాన్ని అభివృద్ధి గావించుకోవాలి. There may be differences in the country, in the language, in the dress and in the culture. ఇందులో పోయినటువంటి ఆనందము మనకు ఎందుకు కలగాలి? But there must be a feeling of unity in us. Then only we can get real joy.
गोविंद कृष्ण जय गोपाल कृष्ण जय गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय
गोविंद कृष्ण जय गोपाल
गोविंद कृष्ण जय गोपाल कृष्ण जय गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय
गोविंद कृष्ण जय गोपाल
कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण 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 जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण 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 जय गोपिकमाल हारी प्यारी माई मीरा मदन मोहन मुरलीधर कृष्ण जय गोपिकमाल हारी प्यारी माई मीरा मन विहार मदन मोहन मुरलीधर कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण 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 जय कृष्ण जय राम कृष्ण जय राधा कृष्ण जय बाल कृष्ण 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 जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण 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 जय